Hello everybody. My name is Bahabla. Today we're going to be going over the Randovania Data Visualizer and Trick Database. This tool does take a little bit of getting used to, but it is a really powerful way to see all of the logic in the database, figure out what you can and can't do with the items you have, and also what kind of tricks are possible that you may or may not already know. Um, so I'm making this for the purposes of the Metroid Prime Mentor Tournament, but I'm actually going to start off by looking at Metroid Dread. The reason for that is they have this map tracker, or this kind of map display that's actually pretty useful when trying to understand how this is laid out. So we're going to start off by looking at the MA Zone first entrance. So if you played Metroid Dread, this is a very early game room in Artaria. This is the first time you enter the white ME Zone. So normally you're going to be entering from this early cloakroom, going around up and having your encounter with the white ME. And the reason I show this is we have, in general, there's kind of the database for Randovania is node based. So we kind of describe the game world in terms of a bunch of nodes that you can travel between. So for instance, one of the nodes in this room is the dock to early cloakroom. This is the door where you initially are going to enter the room in your playthrough in vanilla. Anytime there's a door type node, basically having access to that node means that the game can expect you, if you have whatever weapon or item lets you go through the door, that you can transition into the next room and do more things there. Some other types of nodes we have are like these red ones are helper nodes. They can be accessed from various other nodes and are basically put there to help kind of streamline some of the database logic in some places. There can be blue nodes, which are pickups. So there is an item in this room. If you have access to that node, you have access to that item, and the game can expect you to pick it up. The last kind of thing we have in the structure is event nodes, and that's anytime you're sort of making a change to the game world that can open or close up pathways. So, for instance, in this room, if you'll remember, there is a spider wall covering this door, but once you get Spider Magnet and you latch onto that door, it'll slide down and open up this door for later. So how do we actually kind of make sense of this database and see what the requirements to go over certain places are? So along the left side here, so I guess starting off at the very top, when you open up a game world, these drop downs here let you select which room you want to look at. So the top is always going to be the region. So for Prime, that's going to be things like Magmorph, Andrana, etc. And then the second one will be the room. And then starting also on the left will be a list of all of the nodes in the room. So whichever one you click is basically where you are. So for instance, if we enter the room the first time, it's going to be this dock to early cloakroom water blob. It's going to be this node here. And then on the right side, where we will pick other nodes that are where we are trying to go. So in this case, this door to ME Zone hallway is this node down here. So let's pretend for now that we're just trying to get through the room. We don't care about this item up here. So if we start here and click this node, we see the only requirement to do this is can slide. So at the beginning of the game, you have this. We can just do that unless you've taken away your ability to slide for some reason. Then if we wanted to continue on through the room, if we go to this door to ME Zone entrance hall, and we now want to get to this door to White Emmy Arena. This is trivial. So trivial means there's no requirements to do this. From here, we can go to this helper start point node, which is also trivial. And from the start point node, this door to White Emmy introduction is also trivial. So basically, as long as we have that can slide to get through the little gap here, we have access to get through this entire room. Now let's say we want to get this item. The way, and another nice thing about the database is if you have a node selected, so let's click this next to pickup node. Actually, let's click the pickup in general. You'll see that on the left here, nodes will be written in bold, and that is true if they have a connection that leads to the node that you're currently on. So if my goal is to get this pickup, I can click on it and say, okay, the pathway to get here requires me to be in this next to pickup node. So if I click that and see the path to the missile tank is trivial, okay, now how do we get to this next to pickup node? And let's say I'm entering the room from down here, and I want to try to get up to where this pickup is. So now I can see that this door to early cloakroom water blob does have a pathway to this next to pickup. So I can pick that, go next to pickup, and now I can see some logical requirements. So because this isn't trivial to get up from this door to next to this pickup, where I can get the pickup, now I do need some items or some tricks to help me do that. And I won't go into too much detail at this point on the dread side, but if you have something like a spider magnet, you can climb up this wall, get the pickup. You're good to go. The last thing to talk about is how the events work. So say we're at this next to pickup node and we want to go out towards Corpius here. You'll see there's a requirement that says after Artaria ME magnet door lock. This is an event. So this is saying you don't need any items to do this if this event is already done. And the event is this purple node here. So you'll look for the event that has the same name as this, which is event ME magnet door lock. We'll click on it to see where you can activate this event from. It's next to pickup. So we'll start there and go to this event. So the events requirement is that you be here. So you need some way to get to the top of the room, and you need spider magnet. And so, in game terms, that's just, you need to get up here somehow. And then with spider magnet, you can just simply cling to the door. It'll drop down and the door is open. And from there, you're good to go to this node because the event is already done. So that's kind of the structure of the database. So again, you have these dock nodes. They're going to be called docks or doors. And basically, as long as you have access to that door node and whatever item opens the door, you'll be able to go into the next room. If you want to figure out how to get around, basically, what I like to do is click on where I want to go and just look at these bolded things and follow them backwards to until I get to where I'm kind of starting. And so you'll get a little bit of a feel for it. So if I enter this room and wanted to see what are the requirements to get the pickup, I'm going to start with the pickup, see, okay, I got to get next to it first. Okay, I'm starting down here at this water blob. What do I need to get next to the pickup? And then I can look at this. So let's move into Prime. So let's say you have entered Reflecting Pool here. This is the room just before Vanilla Ice Beam, and you want to know, can I get up to the Ice Beam door up here, or the Ice Beam room up here? What do I need to do that? And sometimes even how do I do that, even if I have the items? So we will go to Metroid Prime Data Visualizer. This is where all the information is. We are in Reflecting Pool. So we don't have the map track, unfortunately, on Metroid Prime, so you'll have to kind of just... Generally, the nodes are pretty well described that you can kind of picture visually, hopefully, in the room where they are. In this case, we are standing in front of the door to Reflecting Pool access. And our goal, which hopefully happened to get auto-selected for us, is to get to the door to Antechamber. And so there's kind of these nested statements here. So you do need to have a little bit of a kind of computer, and or kind of brain going on here to understand some of this. But the simple kind of thing is, so if you kind of start from the top, this says any of the following. So you need either, there's an all of the following here thing. So if you go down this pathway, you'll need a bunch of stuff. Or alternatively, if you just have this stuff, you're already good. And so in this case, you could need space jump. You would need the slope jump trick slope jump trick enabled at beginner level, and the standable terrain trick enabled at beginner level. And what we've tried to do, and we're getting more and more thorough about this, is have actual links to YouTube videos that show off these tricks as you do them. And so in this case, if we click this link, it would pull up a video like this and actually show you, okay, we can stand on this slope jump, so that's the standable terrain, and we can do a little slope jump because he's not completely flat and get up to the door. So that's pretty cool. If you don't see a trick like this and you still want to know how to do it, you can ask around on the Discord. There will almost certainly be people trying to help you, or that can help you with stuff. So if you don't have space jump, there are other pathways we can try to take. So in this case, we're now in this all of the following, which means we need to meet all of the conditions that follow this list. So we always need morph, and now we need one of these two sets of things, because this isn't any of the following. So we could, this is actually the vanilla pathway, the trickless pathway, is to drain the water in the pool, have morph, have boost. The alternative here is if you don't have boost ball, you can do this strat, which I'm going to show just because it's kind of silly. So this won't obviously come up in the tournament, but this is an alternate way to get up to anti-chamber, because this game is interesting in certain ways. You can kind of abuse the way these toads work. Fortunately, we don't get it in the first attempt here. But we can kind of get slingshot around the room, and whoop, there we go, all the way up to the top. But the normal thing will be, so this is the same kind of thing. So this is after reflecting pool water drained. So this is that event. So we need to trigger this event if we want to go the vanilla method through the room. So again, we can click on the event, see where we activate it from. It's reflecting pool access. And to activate the event, so to drain the water, we either need morph and bombs, which is the vanilla way. Or if you have beginner knowledge enabled, then you can know, then you're expected to know that power bombs also would drain the water. So if you go down there, morph, and lay some sort of explosive, the water will be drained. And then that trick pathway will be available to you. Either with boost, or if you don't have boost, doing that weird slingshot method. If you ever kind of get overwhelmed by all this information, especially when it's coming to like advanced tricks and expert tricks that you really don't ever care about, there is something you can do to kind of make the database a little cleaner to look at. If you go into this connection filtering tab, you can simplify things by basically entering in your skill preset. So for this tournament, we have beginner bomb jumps, we have beginner clip through objects, beginner combat, beginner scan dash. This is disabled, disabled. This is beginner, disabled, disabled. This is beginner, this is beginner, this is beginner. These are beginner. Nope. Yep. And all this is in the rules, so you'll see in the preset description part of the rules, you'll see which tricks we have enabled and disabled. And so now, if you have this trick filters applied, all of this stuff we've been talking about has been simplified. So we don't see these advanced tricks anymore. All we see is, did I not click beginner knowledge? No, I did. Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. So now that we have beginner knowledge enabled, you don't see this and beginner knowledge anymore. The database just says you need morph and bombs or power bombs. Or conversely, to get up to the door, it's eliminated all that extra text about how, you need the standable terrain and you need the slope jump trick. It just says you need space jump. And here it does say you do need boost ball because it's not expecting you to do that weird stuff with the toad if you don't have space jump. So this is a nice way to kind of simplify what you're seeing in the database too. It takes a second to set up, so if you're comfortable with just kind of reading all the required tricks and making sense of that, then you don't need to do this. But for some people, I think this might help. One more thing to talk about real quick here at the end is there are templates. So if we go to Fendrana, let's say Research Lab Hydra, if we want to get this missile, we need to shoot super missile. So, intuitively, that is kind of a self-explanatory statement. But in terms of the logic, what does that explicitly mean? We can go into this resource database here and templates, and all of the templates are listed here. So what does shoot super missile mean? It means we need charge and some missiles and power beam and super missiles and can use arm cannon, which is another template, which is basically just having a visor that's not scan visor. So you need all of those things to actually fire a super missile. But to avoid writing all of this down every time we ever need to use super missiles, we just kind of simplify that here. So most of this stuff is super self-explanatory. But if you ever have a question about what something like shoot super missile means, looking in templates is probably how you're going to get your answer. I think that's just about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me. But yeah, happy trick learning. And we'll see you next mission.